What's going on, guys? Future Zuko here. I just wanted to give you a heads up. This tier list that I'm doing right now is based on these fun factors. You're going to see these in a minute. This is not strictly based on the performance of each of the melee DPS specs in terms of how much damage they do. That is a small factor. I don't really mention it much in the video. It is in the back of my mind how much damage they're doing, but I wanted to do one based on how fun it actually felt to play each of the melee specs in the game. Okay, so these are the factors we're looking at. Is it actually fun? Is the rotation and playstyle like easy to understand or feel fluent when you're playing it? Because some of them are kind of clunky. Are the hero talents interesting? Do they add anything new, interesting to your rotation? And is the spec tree interesting or fun as well? Some of those have been reworked. So just keep that in mind when you're watching the video and enjoy. Yeah, okay. So Sub Rogue goes here. It's dog. It's terrible. Arms Warrior, I would say it actually goes up here. I'm trolling. Thanks, Potato. I think Arms Warrior is fun to play, especially if you're playing Colossus Arms Warrior. But even the Slayer Arms Warrior has now become a lot more fun. Getting cooldown reduction on your Blade Storm is really cool. But the Colossus with the Demolish, like Demolish is one of the coolest looking new hero talent abilities in the entire game. It gets a huge check mark. Interesting. Oh, sorry, guys. Interesting. It gets a huge check mark for this one here. The hero talent Demolish is amazing. It feels really fun. And ultimately, the damage is actually good. The damage is good. So I would put that there. Enhancement Shaman. I mean, I think you guys know where this is going. I think this is probably one of the best melees in the game now. I don't know that it's the best. I have a couple of other things that I'm probably going to put in front of it. But for now, I think it's very, very good. And I think it's feels amazing to play. How is easy to play a good thing? Well, just the idea that it's fluent and not clunky to play. Like, for example, Johnson, if we look at Sub Rogue for a second, the claw icon is Feral. We're gonna do Feral in a second. For example, you look at Sub Rogue, okay? Sub Rogue now has an incredibly complicated way that it does damage. You have to make sure that you're like applying your find weakness to people. You have to make sure that you're popping sec tech at the right time, that you can also combo it with your cold blood. You need to do like a cold blood sec tech combo so that your cold blood is hitting the latter half of your sec tech, because sec tech is a two-part ability. It's going to attack and then it does a bunch of shadow clones. You have to like cold blood the shadow clones, which is really annoying. And then there's just a whole bunch of things you need to set up beforehand. Like you need to get flagellation on the enemy first and start building up this mastery bonus. And then you need to use your sec tech with your cold blood at the same time to get the maximum damage there. And then you have to go into your shadow dance windows and basically just try to get back to your next sec tech. All you can really do is damage when you're doing damage with sec tech. And then at the same time, you have Dance Macabre, which says Shadow Dance increases the damage of your attacks that generate or spend combo points increased for each different attack used. So you have to use like completely unique abilities. It's not like Windwalker where you can go like Tiger Palm, Blackout Kick, Tiger Palm, Rising Sun Kick. You have to go like Backstab, Shadow Strike, and then Shadow Blades, and then Fan of Knives, and then you can do a sec tech and then do something else. It's like, it's such a complicated, stupid, like insane capstone to try and work around. The way that Sub Rogue does damage is incredibly complicated right now. It is way too many layers. Like you can also add in, you know, Shuriken Tornado. It's just like, yeah, I don't know. It's really, really hard to do damage that way. And this is why I'm putting Sub Rogue down here, okay? Because it just, the ease of access to this spec is like -12, okay? The ease of access to most of the melee specs is okay. Feral is actually going to lose a couple points. So I'm going to put Feral right here. So I actually want Feral to go here, but I think it actually deserves to probably go here. So it might even go lower, actually. I don't know. I really love Feral, and I kind of know how to play it now. But people who don't know how to play it, I think they're going to really struggle. And they would probably want it to go here. So I probably should just be honest about it. To me, Feral is incredibly fun. To me, the play style is not totally easy to understand. This is where Feral struggles. Because Feral Druid relies on your energy, of course, and your combo points. And your energy regeneration right now for Feral Druid is absolutely terrible. It's in the dumps. It's really bad. When you're inside your cooldowns like Convoke and Berserk, you feel like a god. You're like an S tier god. But outside of those cooldowns, you're going to struggle a little bit for sure. And I think they really need to like work on this. They could make a couple of really simple, easy changes. Like they could just make it so that you're just reinstate Tiger Palm refreshing when you kill an enemy. Boom, problem solved. Or they could just make tireless energy baseline or something. I don't know. There's ways that they could fix this, but right now I would probably put Feral here if I'm going to be honest about it. Just because like I like it more than this, but yeah. I think it's actually fun and interesting. I think Wildstalker makes it fun and interesting as well. Having to bite your enemy that actually has a vine on them is really interesting gameplay to me. I think it's cool. And people don't think it is, but whatever. I'm going to be honest about it. We're going to put it here, okay? I think it needs a little bit of work. Okay, I think Frost DK goes up here. I think it's in a really, really good spot. I actually think it's behind Enhancement Shaman now, but the changes that have come through to Frost DK for the support for a dual wielding build is amazing. I love all the support that they're giving over to things like Icy Death Torrent now. This is going to scale into the later part of the expansion when you get critical strike chance. Imagine if you had 40% crit instead of, you know, 15 or 20 that we have right now in the beta. Your auto attacks would be critting all the friggin' time, and your Icy Death Torrent would be triggering as well. When you combo it with Rider of the Apocalypse, it makes your obliterate cleaving like completely trivial. You don't have to worry about putting down your Death and Decay all the time. You just have it for free from one of your riders, which is really cool. I like the Frost Strike doing damage and exploding, and then of course you're getting free glacial advances from Arctic Assault. I mean, it's just set up for success now. They really changed the midsection of the tree, making all these guys 1-point talents now. It's so strong. I think it's in a really, really good place. Yeah, I think Frost probably has the opportunity to be better than Enhanced, but I think with the recent buffs to Stormbringer, like the Tempest buffs, and then the most recent buffs for Enhancement Shaman being the talent point changes, I think this deserves to be up here right now. Okay? I think Fury probably deserves to go up here. I don't know what you guys think about this, actually. I think if I was to ask some of you guys in chat what you think about this, you would probably say that it goes here. I don't like Fury as much. This is going to be my personal... Let me just do a personal take here. I think Fury is boring, and I don't really enjoy the rotation of just going like Bloodthirst, Raging Blow, Rampage, Bloodthirst, Rampage, Raging Blow, Rampage, Blood, Rampage, 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 Rampage. Like, I'm just so sick of that. It's like you just press Rampage way too much. I do like what Mountain Thane does to it. I think that Mountain Thane actually makes it very, very cool with Thunderclap, but I don't like the playstyle. It can be fluent, but it's also like the most ADHD spec in the entire game. Like the amount of GCDs required to play this, the uptime is insanely fast. It's so fast, it's so crazy, and I don't know, somehow it's one of the fastest specs in the game to play and the most boring in my opinion. I don't know what it is. Right now, I can't deny that this is doing a crazy amount of damage. But there was a guy with a clip yesterday, right? Somebody clipped it. He was doing like 12 million DPS on a pack in a Necrotic Wake as a Slayer Fury Warrior. I mean, I don't know. The damage is obviously there. Okay, Havoc, I'm just going to put down here. For me personally, this is not fun at all. If you were to ask like Relentless or somebody else who I've done keys with on the beta, he plays it really, really well. It actually can do a lot of damage, but to me, I just feel like the playstyle is not fun and it's not easy to play. So the fun factor is missing and the playstyle is not that easy to play because you have to be like constantly doing the momentum backflipping stuff to be regenerating your it's not rage, right? What is it? I forget what your resource is. Whatever it is, your fury. To get your fury back, you've got to be doing the momentum stuff with, you know, a tactical retreat. And I don't know, I just feel like it feels like Havoc Demon Hunter has fallen into this category of specs that has a whole bunch of buttons that they have to press to do a decent amount of damage. And there's other specs in the game now that have been relieved of that duty, and they only have like 3 or 4 buttons now, and they all have meaningful impact. But like Demon Hunter has like Eye Beam and Blade Dance, and then you're gonna switch and have like Annihilator when you're inside. You're pressing meta. You've got extra cooldowns like Essence Break or Fell Barrage, or you can take, there's other ones too. Where's the other one? I mean, obviously the momentum stuff I think is pretty annoying, but there's like 3 or 4 different cooldowns. You've got the Hunt over here. You've got Sigil of Spite over here. Like, I don't know. There's just so many different buttons that you have to press. Havoc kind of feels like there's 7 buttons that all do 10% of your damage, and there should be like 3 or 4 buttons that are doing 20% of your damage. I don't know. That's how it should feel to me, and it's annoying to play that for that reason. And I think all the momentum stuff on top, I don't know. It's just not enjoyable to me. Okay, Outlaw Rogue. Of the 3 rogue specs, I actually think Outlaw Rogue is okay. I'm gonna say needs a lot of work. I'm gonna say this is either not fun or it needs a buttload of work. I think Outlaw falls in the category of just needing a lot of work. I mean, I think they should totally make Outlaw into a pirate rogue and need Jesus. Yeah, that's right. That's actually good. We'll do it that way. Needs Jesus. Needs Jesus. I think that like Outlaw Rogue should just become a full pirate rogue. Right now, it's the best of the 3 rogue specs. It's just they're all kind of really bad. It's like the worst. It's like the best of a bad situation, that kind of thing, right? I think if you play Trickster, Outlaw Rogue is kind of okay, but there's still a fundamental flaw with how Outlaw Rogue works, which is Crackshot and all the stealth requirements. Requiring you to have to go into stealth as an Outlaw Rogue doesn't make any sense to me. Yes, you can have some stealth stuff, that's fine. But the fact that I have to take Crackshot to do any damage, which means I also have to take Without a Trace, it means I can't take things like Echoing Reprimand, which I think is a really, really fun cooldown, but I can't take it anymore because I have to do all this stealth stuff and my talents are then limited over here. That's not fun. It ruins the way that this spec plays. I kind of like that Trickster tried to bring back Killing Spree, because I like Killing Spree as a button, especially for Outlaw Rogue. It's like a very Outlaw Rogue thing. I think it's really cool, but it's the only really good thing about Outlaw now. Like I had footage that I recorded earlier about me playing Outlaw Rogue, and like it was doing damage when I pressed Killing Spree, but the rest of the time it really wasn't. And again, it's just this whole stealth package is really annoying. I hate having to use the stealth package. They really, really, really need to make Outlaw a full-blown pirate rogue, change everything. Have like a sword in one hand and a pistol in the other hand, and change your mastery and make it all about firing like cannon barrages at your enemy. Like, make it cool, man. And don't make it have any stealth at all. I think it's really stupid to have stealth. Okay? Oh my god. Like a ninja turtle? Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle? Hold on. Now it's gonna be even warmer in here. All right, nice. Okay, Ret Paladin. I think Ret Paladin is really, really good. I think it's. I mean, I don't know. I don't want to put too many things in the S tier, I guess, but we're just talking about how it feels to play. Ret Paladin feels really good to play. The fun factor is huge, guys. If you take the Templar hero tree, it's like Christmas, man. You get the proc on Templar. On top of the fact that you get to press it yourself, you get to press this Hammer of Light on your own, and then the capstone gives you a proc of Hammer of Light. It's just really, really good. I mean, it feels good to play. They have really modified the talent tree multiple patches in a row. Like literally over the last month, this hero tree has changed like 3 times, or this spec tree has changed 3 times. They added in a quicker Avenging Wrath if you wanted to every time you press your Wake of Ashes. They have a new like Breath of Syndragosa thing for Havoc. It's even better than Breath is for Frost DK. I really like Divine Hammer. It's really fun. It's just you're constantly like exploding in light bombs. It's very fluent to play. The hero talent trees are interesting and cool, and the spec tree has been changed multiple times, and there are a couple different builds that you can do. They also reworked Ret Paladin Mastery, if you didn't know, and they gave your judgment a chance to proc holy damage whenever it hits, which is really cool. The scarf just doesn't want to stay put. Anyway, it's in a really, really good place. Okay, Sin Rogue, I think, is also in a really bad spot. I think it's a little bit better than Sub Rogue. I don't know. It might just need Jesus, I guess. I think sub is really bad. I think sin is probably like right here. Once again, you're entirely reliant on the stealth package from Assassination Rogue in order to get your dots rolling. Garrote does 50% more damage and doesn't have a cooldown when you use it from stealth. Why is that a thing that exists? Garrote also silences when used from stealth. Why is that a thing? Did you see the rogue notes on Wednesday? They're fine. Yeah, they nerfed Recuperator. Oh my god, that's all they did. Yeah, like all the stealth stuff is really insane. And then on top of that, they doubled down on stealth with Deathstalker. And they said that you have to press ambush from stealth to get the Deathstalker proc on an enemy. You don't want to do that as a Sin Rogue. You want to be pressing Garrote and Rupture in stealth. Because guess what? There's also this here. Garrote and Rupture apply to 2 different enemies when used from stealth. Why? Why is it all stealth related? Just make it so it always applies to 2 different enemies. Like, if you can't re-stealth in between packs as a Sin Rogue, your damage is literally 0. And this Deathstalker tree is based on ambush, which you do not want to press as a Sin Rogue. You want to press Garrote. So they should change this to be Garrote from stealth, not ambush from stealth. Anyway, this spec is really suffering, in my opinion, from the stealth problem. I think it's actually probably okay in the right hands. In the hands of a good player, Sin Rogue is good, which I am not a good Sin Rogue player, but at the same time, just get rid of this stupid stealth mechanic. Make it Sub Rogue's problem to have to deal with stealth. I just don't get it. I just don't understand. Survival Hunter. I think Survival Hunter is very good. It actually might be the best melee right now. I think Survival Hunter is probably... It feels really good to play. Actually, no. Let me go back on this. We're talking about just the fun factor. It is very fun to play. I actually don't know where to put this right now. The hero talents are not interesting. That's the problem. So I think it needs to go down a notch. The hero talents for these guys are actually all really interesting and fun. Getting a Tempest proc for Enhancement Shaman is amazing. Getting all your Riders of the Apocalypse going are amazing. Ret Paladins, as I said before, are really good. The actual hero trees for Survival Hunter are really boring, but they do a lot of damage. So at least the Sentinel one does. So that's kind of the difference there. I would put it on the low end here. I think that overall, playing Survival Hunter has never been more fun than it is right now. I think it's really, really fun. The new tip of the spear mechanic, I think, is actually really interesting. It's something to play around. You're constantly thinking about pressing kill command, and then what's my next ability going to be? Am I going to buff my next bomb? Okay, I'm going to do, okay, my Fury of the Eagle's coming back. I'm going to press Coordinated Assault into a kill command, which gets me tip of the spear, and then I'm going to press a huge Fury of the Eagle. And it's going to be critting because all the enemies are low health, and I'm going to do some monster Fury of the Eagle ability. Like, I love that you can set up the rest of your abilities with a kill command. I think it's a cool mechanic. I actually really enjoy it. And I don't know why some people just aren't liking it right now, but I think that's just because they're, I don't know. It doesn't make sense to me why they wouldn't like it. It's actually a fun mechanic. So the hero talent trees are not fun or interesting, but the spec tree rework is fun and interesting for survival. So I think it absolutely deserves to be up here in the top fun to play category. I just don't think it's better than these 3 in terms of how fun it is to play. Okay. Unholy DK is absolutely fun to play. I think it probably goes at the top of this category here. My problem with Unholy DK is that I just don't like it. I don't know if anybody else gets this feeling when they're playing Unholy DK. I just don't enjoy playing it that much. So again, this is a very subjective take. It's just, there's something about it that just isn't super fun or engaging. It could be that, like, all of the abilities, I think all of the abilities for Unholy DK is, they aren't like flashy or fun to look at or like super interesting. Like, spawning your Abomination just spawns an Abomination. Pressing Unholy Assault just presses Unholy Assault and gets you 4 Festering Wounds. Summoning your Apocalypse just summons a couple of minions out of the ground. Like, I don't know. The only interesting part about it is, like, you get Timmy with his laser beam, right? It's down, yeah, down here you get Unholy Pact. It's just not, like, compare visually and audibly. I want you to compare Unholy DK to like Ret Paladin or a Stormbringer Enhancement Shaman, bringing down a Tempest and the Storm, you know? Or even like a Survival Hunter throwing bombs and explosive shots are going off, and Fury of the Eagle slashing everybody in front of you. Like, it just looks and feels more fun to play those specs than it does to play Unholy. That being said, I don't think Unholy does a lot of damage, and I think that the spec tree actually has a decent number of builds here that you can look at. There's like a disease build with decomposition and like super strain. You could do, you have also bursting sores and even fever for all the disease stuff. You can do a minion build down here with like gargoyle and commander of the dead and get some magus of the deads going. Like, there's actually some really cool build diversity, which is a very rare thing for a lot of the spec trees, which I think is really good. I just don't have fun playing it. It still feels good to play damage-wise, but I just don't really enjoy playing it. That'd be my thought there. And then Windwalker Monk. I think Windwalker Monk is also really good. I think it feels fun to play. The only thing is you have to like play it well. You have to make sure you're alternating different abilities to proc your mastery. If you're not proccing your mastery ever, then you're obviously not going to be doing any damage. That's really, really important. You have to be alternating every single time to get that extra damage that's going. The builds are very fun. They're very flashy. They look really cool. When you press Strike of the Windlord and it automatically procs a Rushing Jade Wind, that feels incredibly strong to me. It does a lot of damage. It sets up the rest of your abilities with the old Bone Dust Brew talent, which is called Gale Force now. So like, they have really consolidated a lot of the talents for Windwalker Monk. They got rid of Rushing Jade Wind. It's not a button you have to press anymore. They got rid of Bone Dust Brew. It's just a passive now. These are both baked into Strike of the Windlord, which is really, really cool. They added in some really fun flair with things like Whirling Dragon Punch having the potential 8 stacks. If you get your 4 stacks of Teachers of the Monastery plus the 4 from Whirling Dragon Punch, you can have 8 stacks when you press your Blackout Kick, which is just absolutely monstrous and does crazy amounts of damage. Really, really cool. I actually also love the Crackling Jade Lightning thing that now chains to different enemies and will do a bunch of extra damage. And this can all go into your Storm, Earth, and Fire. So I love that they made Storm, Earth, and Fire baseline as opposed to Serenity. I thought Serenity was just kind of like, it's just kind of a nothing cooldown. It's a good cooldown, but it's kind of a nothing cooldown. So the fact that it's now based on Storm, Earth, and Fire and you can copy every other ability that you're doing is very cool. I love what they've done with Windwalker. I think the hero talents are also good. Shadow Pan is a little bit underwhelming right now. I don't really know why this has not been buffed. It seems really terrible to me. But the Conduit of the Celestials is a good one. This is a great one. It summons all the different Celestials to your side, and it helps you do a whole bunch of extra damage and healing as well. So I think it's in a good spot. I don't think it deserves to be at the it doesn't feel the best to play in my opinion, but it feels very, very good to play. I would probably put it above Unholy actually. Right, so here's my hero talent. This is my, not in my hero talent. This is my tier list for melee DPS right now in the War Within in terms of the fun factor. Just the fun factor. How fun are they to play? It's a little bit based on damage, but it's more based on like, do the spec trees feel good? Do the hero trees add something interesting? Is the playstyle fluent and easy to understand? And then is it actually fun to play? I would say these 4, in my opinion, are the top 4 most fun to play right now, followed very closely by your Windwalker, Unholy, Arms, and Fury. I think I would personally rate Feral more highly, but I'm going to be honest about where it is right now from a new player perspective, trying to learn how to play Feral. I think you would be so discouraged with your amount of energy regeneration that you just don't have. I think you'd be kind of discouraged. So I do think it needs a bit of work. And then I think Havoc and Outlaw, I mean, these just all need Jesus big time. These are really, really bad. These don't feel fun to play at all. And then they really just have to completely redo Sub Rogue, in my opinion. This just I don't even know what to say. Sub Rogue's just, I don't know, man. It needs to change. All the rogue specs need to dramatically change, to be honest. But yeah, that's my little list there.